Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, find a way to lose. Man, let me tell you, so excited to see Keith Thurman doing an interview. Wasn't sure that man was still alive, but wasn't so pleased to see Keith Thurman return with the high and tight haircut. I don't know if Keith Thurman just got out of basic training or if he's just kind of getting the haircut because he admires the soldier, the Marine, the airman, the seaman. Not sure what's going on with that high and tight haircut, but I tell you what, I wish we had more information on this man in his next fight. Keith Thurman came back, did an interview with ES News. He talked a whole lot about a lot. You know, Keith Thurman is one of those talkers, man. But at this point with Keith Thurman, look, there's nothing going on. It sounds, according to him, trying to work out a fight with Spence. It didn't come together. Sounds like there's something in the works. Didn't disclose an opponent, but he may have something going on this year. But Keith Thurman's at the point where he's that guy who you run into that you haven't seen for like 30 years since high school, and all he wants to do is talk about what he was in high school and how he was the guy who played football and he was the prom king, and you remember when I used to do this and this and that and this, and you've moved on with your life and you're looking at this clown like, man, you telling me you have nothing else to talk about but crap from high school? Everyone else has evolved. Hey, champ, appreciate you reminding me of what you were in high school, but how about this? I'm a millionaire now. I've got 20 properties. How about this? I got a master's degree. How about this? I got a happy relationship with my wife and 4 kids. My man, I got a successful career. I've retired once, working again. What are you doing? You still talking about what you did and who didn't do this when you were in high school? My man, he needs to get caught up to the times. That's where Keith Thurman is, in my opinion. There's only so much of this shit we want to hear about. No one took the belt from him. Terrence Crawford, even talked about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford needs a Keith Thurman on his resume. And let me tell you something, none of them need Keith Thurman on their resume. There was a time where I used to sit there and say, man, imagine if Terrence Crawford fought Keith Thurman and beat him, and now Terrence Crawford went to negotiations with Earl Spence. He'd have a little more leverage. Spence would have Danny Garcia and Porter on his resume, and then Crawford would have Thurman on his resume. Those were 3 big wins. 2 of those fighters there for Spence, and then 2 for Crawford because he would have had Porter and Thurman. But where we are now, I'm not saying that if Spence or Crawford were to fight Thurman and beat him, that wouldn't carry any weight. Yeah, it does. But what I'm saying is those guys, they're so far beyond worrying about Keith, one-time Thurman, that it doesn't even make sense for him to do interviews. And I'm going to tell you, I understand why he disappeared from the sport of boxing. He went over there, was messing around. I think it was in Japan. That's where he met his wife. And she was working in a bar. I don't know, long story short, ended up back in Nepal. Big marriage, big ceremony. Brings her to the States. You gotta stay close to her, man. Make sure she's comfortable. Make sure the paperwork's right. And that takes time. In addition to that, they have a child. It may have 2 now. I don't know. I know he has 1. He's a father, man. And Keith Thurman comes from a close-knit family. He's going to put family first. So I want to make sure that I'm very clear that I agree and support Keith Thurman as far as his choice to put family before everything. However, this is where Keith Thurman got to hold his horses and not take it to the stupid. My man, this isn't high school anymore. If we're playing a game of pickup basketball, no one's going to want you on the first pick for the team. No one cares anymore. You understand? People have grown up and gone beyond that. A lot of us have forgot what Keith Thurman did in the ring because it's been so long since he one-timed somebody. You know what I'm saying? He's no time. He's time out of time. But we have to see. These guys aren't getting any younger. Keith Thurman lost a lot of years, man. He talked about being plagued by injuries and, fair game to him. If you hurt, you hurt. But we just got to put things in perspective. A lot of his prime years were gone, man, with no fighting. This once every 2 years shit, man, let me tell you, that's just not good. Keith Thurman should have had probably, man, you figure maybe 10, 12 more fights on his record. He's even talking about now coming back and getting back to knocking people out, and how Gervonta Davis has motivated him. But he also understands going 12 rounds and being able that you don't get tired over the 12 rounds and not just loading up on hard shots in every shot. But he talked about so much, man. Go watch the interview. Well, actually, get ready to get frustrated, because that guy, Eli Sekbach, he just records a video and just goes and just figures he's going to chop up the video and then give you like 5 or 6 different clips instead of giving you one whole video. But there's no intelligence behind what Eli Sekbach is doing. Keith Thurman be in the middle of a sentence. At least wait till the man finish his thought, and then, cut the video into a clip. They'll be mid conversation and Sekbach just chopping up the video, so it's not even enjoyable to watch. So I'll just give you a heads up about that if you decide to go watch the video. But nonetheless, hey, look, Keith Thurman is back. Says he has something on the horizon, and he just keeps talking about Earl Spence, man. And at this point in time, I think anybody wants to hear it anymore, man. But nonetheless, good job to Keith Thurman for getting that high and tight haircut. Whoa. My man, I tell you what, he can say all he want about going to a boxing ring. Man, like he about to go into the military, if you ask me. I think he has a better chance of going. We have a better chance of seeing him join the military than him join into a fight, because I don't know what all is going on with this guy. But hopefully he can get his stuff together. Maybe we'll see him in the ring. And he's a big name. Be surprised if he comes back and someone figures he's a gatekeeper. He somehow fall into some big money. But at this point in time, he even talked about fighting Danny Garcia a second time, maybe. But Keith Thurman's just looking for new opportunities, man. But at this point in time, man, we'll see what Keith Thurman decides to do. I just want to tell y'all, man, shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. This guy used to be one of my favorite fighters. That's why it's frustrating. I don't even have any energy to do this video. To go from what he was doing, man, all the way up to Porter and Garcia, to just disappear from the sport of boxing. Figured he'd disappear a year or so, 2 years, but damn, the way his career has just gone left, it's understandable. You got a family, but at the same time, it's sad. This is what happened to his career is what you see happen to guys who go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. He got to be happy with the choices he made, and I believe he is somewhat happy. But there's a part of him that's plaguing him, because in his mind he knows he has so much more to give to the sport of boxing, and he didn't. And he always talking about the guy Getty, who trained him since he was a little kid. And you're going to be a champion. You're knocking out people and all this. Keith Thurman loves it. He lives and breathes boxing, and I don't care what he says or anyone else. You could see that it bothers him that he's no longer that guy. And he wants it, but his hands are tied. And I truly believe his family life, man. And it's a good thing, but he hasn't found the right balance. And best of luck to Keith Thurman, man. I'm actually rooting for him. But at the end of the day, he need to get rid of that haircut, man. Yo, man, no need for all that high and tight shit. Come on now, Keith. Knock it off. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.